All right, we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of Magnificent live stream. So I got a special guest tonight. His name is American Joe. He's a YouTuber. He's got great content. I actually just found his channel not that long ago, maybe a month or so. But we're just going to talk some politics tonight with you guys. So, Joe, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell them where they can find you.
Well, how's everybody doing tonight? What's going on, Patriots? A lot of people in the chat room there. Thanks for having me on, Mike. I met Mike a couple weeks ago, and looking forward to talking to you. You just search me out, American Joe, on YouTube. You'll find me pretty quick. And if you like America, or if you love America, and if you love our great president and what's happening in this country right now, then come on over, and we'll have a lot of fun on the American Joe Show. I'll tell you that.
Yes, sir. Hey, and so you guys know, I got the chat. I got a second monitor here so I can actually see everybody's chats and the super chats as they come in. So that is great. That's an upgrade. And as you can see, I got this microphone, so hopefully the audio is good. Let me know if you guys can hear it. Everything should be good to go. So let's start with a little background. Like, what part of the country are you from? You know.
Well, I'm from parts unknown. I used to watch a lot of professional wrestling when I was growing up, and I don't want the liberal lunatics to know where my wife lays her head down at night. So let's just say I am in a nice open carry state. And,
that's good.
And I've been doing YouTube now since November of last year, and love it, man. I love this.
Wow, that's great, man. Yeah, because I was going to ask, like, what state would you, like where you live right now, could you have a Trump bumper sticker or wear a MAGA hat in public? And it sounds like you can do both.
Well, if you're the right guy, I guess. I just went out to Sprouts. It's a grocery store. It's a one of those health food places, and you know, a lot of liberals kind of hang out there, like Starbucks and stuff. And I was wearing my Trump hat and actually wearing this shirt. But I'm a big dude, you know. Didn't have any negative interactions at all, but I did have one old lady come up to me and tell me under her breath that she loved my hat. She actually worked there, and she said she can't really talk at work about it, but she supports Trump, and I get that a lot, man. A lot of people support Trump but don't want to talk about it, or they work in environments where they can't talk about it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that's crazy. That's very interesting because you would think that, you know, when you're wearing your Trump hat out, you're going to get accosted. People are going to say stuff to you that you're going to feel like you got to be on the defense. Like for me, I feel like my head is on a swivel, but not nearly as much as it used to be, because for the most part, people are complimenting me. But every once in a while, you'll have some people say some stuff. Like a couple weeks ago, I was at the beach. And these kids were walking in front of me. They were probably like, I want to say like 17. You could tell they were probably seniors in high school or something. A couple of kids were black. The rest were white. I was wearing a MAGA hat. And one of the black kids was like, he said the N-word. He's like, this N-word got on a MAGA hat in front of all his friends. And so I was just kind of like, is that necessary? You know? And he's like, no, I just never saw it before. And I'm like, all right, man, whatever. So I go sit down on the beach. A couple minutes later, well, maybe about half an hour later, they're walking by me again. And he's like, hey, man, I just want to know, can I take a picture with you? And I'm like, wait a minute. He's not trying to like troll me or nothing. He's like, no, I just want to take a picture. I just want to, you know, I've never seen a black person in person wearing a MAGA hat. And he's like, I'm sorry for, you know, calling you the N-word in front of my friends, whatever. And it ended up being kind of a positive experience that I feel like I wouldn't have had otherwise. You know, like I told him, I'm like, we shouldn't be talking to each other like that as black men. And we also got to be accepting of people who have different points of view. So anyway, we got a picture together. And it's those kinds of interactions that I feel like are helping to move the dialogue forward in the country. So, you know, in Florida, I don't really have to deal with it nearly as much, though.
Man, you're in Florida. Almost everybody I know is hanging out in Florida, man. There's so many Patriots down there. That's a great state, apparently.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. It's very patriotic. Every day I see people flying the Trump flag, or they got the American flag. There's a lot of veterans here. So it's a great steak. Anyway, enough small talk. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. And I'm going to let you, because I watched your video earlier, and it sounds like you downloaded the report. You have it saved. You've skimmed over it at least. You're waiting for the media meltdown before you chime in. But give us your take on this whole Mueller investigation and the unredacted report.
Well, it's pretty much everything I've been expecting it to be. Nothing really has surprised me today at all. The reaction from all the Democrats and all the leadership on the Hill from the Democratic side is precisely what I expected. When I watched Mr. Barr's press conference he held this morning, it was about a 15, 20-minute press conference before the release of the report. And in that press conference, he was very straightforward. He just laid out the facts. He laid out everything. He talked about why things were redacted, how much was redacted, why it was redacted. Laid out pretty much all the facts. And at the end of it, took a few questions from the press. And of course, the questions were the same ones I knew they were going to ask, which was, why are you showing favoritism towards Trump? Why are you sticking up for Trump? Blah, blah, blah. They had all these questions written before they even showed up to the presser. I mean, just that's how they roll. They have all this stuff lined up, all their talking points ready to go before they even get there. So then once the report comes out, I'm still at work. I haven't seen the report. I haven't read the report. But my whole plan from the beginning was just to wait and see what happens with the media. And I thought it was going to be a coin toss when I got off work. I was either going to get home and find some headlines that were going to be surprising, like maybe there was something in there that was a little damning towards President Trump, and they were all going to run with that headline. But when I saw the actual headline they ran with, I just couldn't stop laughing, man. They just picked the most ridiculous thing out of that. If that's the worst thing in that report, they should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. But they're going to run with it all the way to the bank.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm fatigued on this. This whole Russia collusion thing never piqued my interest from the beginning. So I didn't really make too many videos about it. I really haven't talked much about it just because, we knew from the beginning that it was a nothing burger and that they're just having a freak out because Hillary lost. And I'm just like, let's get to the end game. Let's get the report over with. Let's get the findings and let's move on. I'm already ready to move on, but I understand that because they control the entire narrative, we're just totally reactionary to everything they do. We're kind of combating it. So it's going to be in the media. It's going to be in the news, going to dominate headlines for, I don't know, until 2020, until there's something to overtake it.
2025.
2025, right? Even after then, they're still going to use Donald Trump. They call it the Trump bump to chase headlines. Even after he's out of office, they're going to have a new president, and they're going to compare this president to Trump just so they can have Trump in their talking points. They're like, oh, coming up next on Rachel Maddow, how this new president compares to Trump in this situation. Can't you just see that now? Like, we're always going to be hearing about Trump even after he's gone.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I don't know if you got a chance to see Adam Schiff and what he said in his little presser, because everybody has to have these press, what do they call these things? Press, whatever they're called. I can't think of it. But they all go out in front of these cameras, and Adam Schiff is like Adam Schiff has been saying nothing except the fact that there is proof of collusion, right? And then there's proof of obstruction. Even after the Mueller report came out, even after they said, no, there's no collusion. There's nothing to prosecute on obstruction. How can you obstruct a crime that was never committed? That's what I don't understand. If there is no Russia collusion and they thought he was obstructing the Russia collusion investigation, but there was no Russia collusion, then there can't possibly be obstruction. But Adam Schiff has been talking about this nonstop, and today he completely changes his tune, and now it's not about the fact that Trump did something criminal anymore. Now it's that he did something wrong, and he's an immoral president. So now we're going back to morality. with President Trump, and that's where Schiff is going to go now. And it's really shocking to me that they think that's going to shift the right from Donald Trump, talking about how he made decisions about Hillary Clinton's emails that were immoral in some capacity. We all know that Hillary Clinton is a crooked-ass politician, and if they dug into her past, there's no doubt she would be in jail. The only reason she's not in jail is because she has dirt on everybody in Washington because she's been there for 35, 40 years as a power couple with Bill. That's why she'll never go to prison, because she's protected. But everybody's talking about the fact that Russia tried to hack those emails, or did hack those emails, or WikiLeaks hacked those emails. But nobody's talking about the fact that what's in the damn emails? What's in the 30,000 emails she deleted? Why did she delete those emails, destroy evidence that was subpoenaed by the government, and use programs like BleachBit to wipe drives, use hammers to destroy devices to get rid of stuff? What's in the emails? I don't care about the fact that they were illegally hacked. I want to know what's in the damn emails. And that's what Trump was pushing the whole time. And because Trump was pushing that, that's immorality, immoral, I don't know. Schiff is out of his mind. He's a lunatic.
Yeah. I mean, the way I see it, with all of this Russia collusion and all the way that they continue to shift the goalpost, they know who their audience is. Anybody with a shred of common sense can see, like, all right, Trump didn't collude, but they swore up and down for the last 2.5 years he will be indicted, he's going to be impeached, all of this talk, and there was nothing. So for the people who were kind of on the fence, they weren't sure, they're looking at the media now like, you really insulted my intelligence. They've insulted the intelligence of the entire country, regardless of what side of this you're on, right? If you hate Trump and you wish he colluded, you're mad, but you're also really dumb if you continue to turn on Rachel Maddow, you continue to turn on Chris Matthews and CNN, all the leftist media. If you continue to buy into that, like, I'm going to follow this and let's see where it goes next, then you're just along for the ride. You're just crazy. If you're on the right, if you're a Trump supporter, if you're a conservative, they're looking at you like, we could just continue smearing this president and eventually his base will abandon him because they will see that he's immoral and crooked and racist and all these things that they keep smearing him with. It's like, you're not getting people to budge. The people in the middle, the people who didn't feel any type of way, they're all leaving. The numbers are in as far as what kind of media they're taking in. Ever since that Mueller report came out, Sean Hannity, Spike, Tucker Carlson, all of Fox News got a bump in their ratings, which tells me that the people who are in the middle are watching that now. So it really doesn't even matter what they say. It doesn't matter all the craziness that they say because they're just talking into their echo chamber, right? All these celebrities on Twitter, they all have the same thing to say. It's one giant echo chamber with the same anti-Trump rhetoric on loop. So you're either super crazy, you support Trump and you're calling out the crazies, or you're in the middle and you're just deciding right now, like, yeah, I'm done with this, I'm leaving. So it really only helps Trump. The more that they talk bad about him, as annoying as it is, the more that they continue down this path. I say it all the time, they're like on a treadmill of insanity or a hamster wheel. It's just rotating. They just keep doing it. They keep churning out the hate, and all it's doing is just pushing more people. This is Trump voters. So that's just kind of how I look at it, man. But as far as our election process goes, I think we need to pivot from Russia and like election meddling to voter fraud. I can't talk tonight. Voter fraud and illegals voting and stuff like that. We need to start focusing on 2020. That's just kind of how I see it, man.
Well, that's one of the big reasons I started doing YouTube, Mike, is because I wanted to get together with other people like you. There's a lot of patriots out there on YouTube who have different sized voices and all the channels are growing stronger every day. But you got small channels, medium sized channels, and very big channels, and I don't see them working together. I see them more out there like boats or ships at sea on their own. We need to come together, and we need to be talking. Share. Basically, what I'm saying is we got to start sharing our audiences the message that we're all saying the same thing. We're all speaking the same truth, that we have to do whatever we can to get Trump another 4 years in office, and we need everybody saying the same thing. And if one thing we can learn from the left, they're very good at messaging. They're very good at broadcasting a unified message. You'll hear the same talking point, whether it is the Trump temper tantrum, for example, right? You hear that line, and you're going to hear it across every major news platform, every major news host, talking point, talking head, Twitter feed, the same exact line. They'll do that. And the reason they do that is because brand messaging works. Donald Trump knows all about brand messaging. He's the king of brand messaging. We have to be like him. We have to be pushing that message together in a unified way. And that's why I'm so happy that you were willing to do a show with me and others, because we need to stick together and get together. I just hopped over to Mr. Reagan's channel 10 minutes before I came on here, and I jokingly said, let's collab together. And he actually answered me on the stream and said, yeah, shoot me an email. We'll do something. That's what we need to have happen. Brian over at High Impact Flicks. You got Gary over at Next News Network. These are all guys that we got to start working with, man. We got to work with the bigger channels, the smaller channels, and everybody in between.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm actually in contact with Infowars right now, trying to get on the War Room next week with Owen Schroyer. I'm connected with most of the Black YouTubers. We all connect through email and Twitter and all that stuff.
Do you have any connection to Brandon Tatum?
Yeah, I haven't talked to him much, but he knows who I am. We've met before in DC. I have his phone number. He has my phone number, but we haven't talked that much. I mean, I need you to drop a name for me, man, because I've been trying to reach out to him through ABL, Anthony Brian Logan. I've been on Anthony Brian Logan's channel several times in his live stream, and he knows me. But I want to start connecting with people a lot more. And a lot of those guys are really hard to get in touch with, it seems like, or they're hard to reach. So yeah, man, let's start connecting people, man. And there's a lot of other people we got to look at. Yeah, they really are hard to get in touch with. I mean, I've reached out to Candace Owens. Like, obviously, she's going to be one of the hardest to get in touch with.
Well,
but
she's a superstar right now, so she's going to be difficult,
Yeah, but I mean, like, even reaching out to people on Twitter and seeing if they'll retweet you will get you more followers. I don't know if you're on Twitter at all, but
but after my 5th ban, I quit. I banned Twitter from my life. They're banned from me now. So
that's so funny, man. Yeah, I was actually listening to what's the guy's name? Tim Pool. I was listening to Tim Pool, and he's talking about how if Twitter were a restaurant, it would be like their menu would be mostly vegan. And what he meant by that is they're catering to such a small, minute, fringe, but it's because they want to be in a safe space. So that's probably why they ban people so much, is because they don't want to be open and have all that fighting, right? If they didn't ban certain people, and a lot of it's unjust, and I don't agree with it, but it makes sense why they would do that because of sponsors and shareholders and all that. But it's like they're catering to a small fringe. But if they were a restaurant, there's no way that would fly. Like, you can't eat here. More than half of the country wouldn't be able to eat at their restaurant.
Well, if they're vegan, you're talking 3% of the population, so who cares?
Exactly.
But here's what kills me about Twitter, dude. This is what kills me, man. I get banned on there. I got banned because I told somebody that they went full retard, and I was saying that in context of the movie Tropic Thunder. And I even put an image of Tropic Thunder with the tweet saying you never go full retard. I don't know if you ever saw that movie or not, but it's a line from a movie. It's not even my line. It's somebody. It's what's that guy's name? Iron Man. What's his name? I can't think of his name right now. Iron Man.
I can't remember.
Damn it. Anyway, he says in this movie you never go full retard, and I put that in a tweet with the image from the movie, and I got a ban from the account for, I think it was 12 days. I don't know how many days it was, a number of days. So I get banned for quoting a comedy film, right? But you can go on Twitter right this second. You can find hardcore pornography all over the place. You can find, I saw a video of ISIS fighters. They had a bunch of people lined up in a pit, face down with their hands bound behind their backs, and they were taking AK-47s and just popping them in the head as they walked down the aisle. And it had to be a few hundred people that were being murdered by ISIS right there on Twitter. Beheadings right there on Twitter. But I say somebody's going full retard. I quote a freaking movie, and I get a ban. So this is the insane world we're living in, where heaven forbid you attack or even speak the truth on Islam in any fashion, and you're doomed. You are absolutely doomed. They will shut you down in a heartbeat. There's a video I found on YouTube, which I linked in my community settings or on my community tab on my channel. And it's a guy who's obviously a Muslim in another country who goes up behind another man and murders him brutally on camera. I mean, and it is a long, brutal murder where the guy is screaming out for help and he beats him to death, and then he sets him on fire. It's been on YouTube for over a year. On YouTube for over a year. And they're taking my video down in 2 days. I put a video up about my reaction to the New Zealand shooting. I don't know if you had a chance to see this video, Mike. This was the most laid-back video you've ever seen. It was a white guy talking to a camera, okay? And I was encouraging people, saying, patriots don't go out and commit acts of violence like this, random acts of violence. We don't go out and shoot and murder people. That's not patriotism. That's someone who's a lunatic, okay? That's a crazy person doing that. That's not something I endorse. So I was actually calling out the violence, and just because I said reaction to New Zealand shooter in it, and also because I talked about Islam in the video, not in a very bad way, but mind you, they pulled the video down, they deleted or they demonetized my entire channel. It took me about 3 weeks of appeals to get my video back up and get remonetized. But that's what we're looking at as conservatives on media platforms. We are being shut down at every turn. You're monetized on here, right, Mike?
Yes, I am monetized, and it's crazy that. Let me give a shout out to super chatters real quick, and then we'll talk about the monetization thing, because some stuff came up today. Clay Pro says collusion with Russia is not a good thing, and then Trump believes in Russia first. Okay, Clay Pro is obviously. I'm gonna let you respond to this. Okay, Clay Pro, he's super chat, so I appreciate that. I appreciate having people on that dissent and they disagree, whatever. He super chats, that's fine. He's not over the top disrespectful or anything, but he also has pretty much the opposite opinion on Trump. So he says collusion with Russia is not a good thing. And he's saying Trump believes in Russia first, despite the fact that there's no collusion with Russia. Trump is not, he's been tougher on Russia than past presidents. What do you have to say to Clay Pro?
Well, he's obviously a moron. I don't want to make your viewers upset or hurt feelings, but he's obviously doesn't know what he's talking about and has no idea. He's just being fed liberal talking points, man. And he watches CNN, he watches MSNBC. He's probably been watching Rachel Madcow for the past 2 years, and it's burned into his brain. Nothing Trump has done, not one thing he has done is pro-Russia. Not one damn thing has he done that is pro-Russia. Nearly everything he has done is against Russian interests. So this guy, I don't know. There's all kinds of people like this that show up on my channel. They're worthless to me. Yeah.
I mean, I still appreciate the super chat, Clay Pro. Malcolm Palms, thank you for the super chat. He said you guys should hook up with Jericho Green if you have the time. Man, I would love to have that dude on my channel, but I would already have to know that whatever live stream I do with him, instant demonetization. He goes on these profanity-laced tirades in every single video. It's like a breath of fresh air because he makes so much sense when he says it. He's great. He's on my list of people to collaborate with. But
what channel is that?
Jericho Green.
Never heard of him.
Find him. You got to find him, especially if you have an appetite for someone who just tells it like it is, unfiltered profanity. He's out in California. He's always driving to work.
Oh, the poor guy.
No, that's when he makes his videos, man. He's good. And then also Azure Phoenix said, happy Exoneration Day. I suggest you guys search through YouTube for Patriots and start holding private MAGA meetups in your various locations. Learn about community organizing techniques. Yeah. Yeah, going back to the whole, we got to have a uniform message. I don't really think we need to do exactly what the left is doing, because the left does what they do because they're in lockstep, because they have minions. They have people who are on autopilot, people who allow themselves to be spoon-fed, contrived news stories day in and day out. Whichever direction the media pivots, they pivot with it. They don't question it. They just want to go with the flow. With the right, people are thinking for themselves. So if I'm in the center and I'm looking at, okay, all the leftist media has been saying the exact same thing verbatim about Trump, I want to hear something different from every single person that I talk to going forward. So you're going to hear a different message from Tucker versus, I don't know, Ben Shapiro, Anthony Brian Logan, me, whoever. They're going to hear something different. And I think that's what people want. And I think that's what is going to resonate with people, is the authenticity of the messenger and the message itself. Whereas before, it's like rehearsed and scripted. So that's just kind of what I think about that. And then you asked if my channel is monetized. Yes, it is. However, Conservative Mexican, I don't know if you heard of his channel or not. He's one of the very first YouTubers I collaborated with. He actually inspired me to start my channel. Like, he pushed me over the top. Like, just make a video and just go with the flow. His channel just got demonetized today. His whole channel. I guess some copyright thing. He'd been getting copyright strikes or something. And then Grindle61 out in California, he just got his channel demonetized too. So they're cracking down on that because messages are starting to spread. Channels are growing. Like, I've doubled my subscribers in the last 28 days. So they're probably trying to crack down and discourage people from making this a full-time job. Because if it's a full-time job, that means we can watch. Like, if this were a full-time job for me, I could actually sit there, watch CNN, and then break it all down and get super into the details with everything. Right. And that's what they don't want.
Oh, yeah, man. I spend 60 hours a week at my real job where, you know, I go to work every day. Imagine you pour that into your channel and how much you could do, you know. But I've decided I'm trying to break free of the grasp that YouTube has around me right now. I stopped doing super chats. I turned off super chats because they were robbing me of 30% of all the money coming in for no reason. So I'm going to pay you 30% of my money just so you can demonetize all my crap and put me through hell every day. Every time I upload a video right now, Mike, it defaults to a yellow $sign. Defaults no matter what the video is about. And then I have to submit a request for manual review on it, which takes about 4 to 5 days. And by then all the views have passed. So they know what they're doing. They're going to keep the videos down. They're going to give you the opportunity to make as little money as possible. So I just use PayPal directly on my channel. I tell people, you want to give through my PayPal. It goes right to me with a very small percent that PayPal takes. And I am trying to get to a point where I can live stream right off of my website directly. The only benefit I have right now of YouTube, obviously, is the way you can build an audience on YouTube and a subscriber base. Because if I was live streaming off of my website only, I'd have 5 subscribers right now. And I've got almost 12,000 now. I'm closing on 12,000. And that's all because of YouTube's algorithms and the ways that they promote my videos. And it also has a lot to do with people social sharing videos. So I encourage all of your people watching your videos who are fans of your show, one of the best ways you can help us on these channels is to share these videos. You know, super chats are awesome. PayPals are great. We love financial contributions because, like you said, we want to be free to do this full time. We all do. But sharing videos is immensely helpful. That's how you can go from 1,000 views to 100,000 views to 200,000 views. And that's really where your channel starts to grow. My biggest month in channel growth, I think, was February. I grew up in 5,000 subs in 1 month, and that was off of a collaboration I did with a bigger channel. But I also had 3 videos that, of course, all of them are on AOC, that went over 100,000 views when I was really early in the game. And that was huge to me because at that time, getting 500 views was a big deal. If I got 500 views, I was like, man, that's awesome. And those 3 went over 100,000 views. And so my subscriber base, every time you do a video where you get a lot of views, your subscriber base jumps up a few thousand people. I got it down to, I think, about 1% of your views on a video. That's how many subscribers you're going to gain. That seems to be what it is on my channel. I don't know if that's true for everybody. But YouTube is doing a lot of things in the background to hold us back. For me, they're doing the yellow dollar sign thing on the monetization, but they're also making it so people don't get notified when I post a video. Lots of people say they rung the bell, they subscribed, but when I go live, they don't have any notification. When I post a video, they have no notification. What else is there, man? They put a bell there as another obstacle people got to climb over to get notified. And then when they click that, it doesn't work. You can't tell me that's just a coincidence, because I hear a lot of conservatives are having the same problem.
Yeah, so. YouTube really needs to, and I'm gonna quote my my guy ABL's in the chat right now. YouTube needs to tighten it up. There's a lot of hurdles that they put in there, a lot of artificial barriers to try to block messages. They demonetize. They're very arbitrary with it. It sounds like what you're going through with your channel. I went through the same thing. My channel was shadow banned for probably most of March, all of February, up and down views. Despite me growing, I was getting like half the views. And now it's like they opened the floodgates. And I gained like 10,000 subs in the last 4 weeks. It's crazy.
Wow, really?
It's crazy how they do this.
Actually, you're right, because I think I saw you was around 23,000 not long ago.
Yeah, that was like literally last week. But then that Candace Owens thing, I released a video. It was just a re-upload. I titled it like Candace Owens torches the Democrat Party or something like that. And it got like 750,000 views. It's pushed to 800,000 views. But then also I made a video, and I'm going to also plug another, plug Facebook or whatever. I released a video on AOC and I put it on Facebook, and Anomaly shared it on Facebook, and it got like 1.5 million views. And now on my channel, it's got like 300,000 views. So it's very weird how you can go from being shadow banned to like making a random video and it just blows up. It almost makes up for what YouTube was doing before. But still, they need to tighten it up. They need to fix this Google Hangouts thing. You should have an option to do side by side. Like you said, I don't really like this whole like jumping back and forth, because every time you make a sound or something, if there's any background noise, it automatically pivots the camera to you when it shouldn't go over there. If I'm talking, there's so much they can do to improve the platform, but I can't be too mad at them because I'm blessed. I'm grateful to have a platform to be able to speak and then also have it be monetized. ABL said, set up, let me go back to his message. He said, set up Patreon and Teespring. I need to work on Patreon a little bit. I kind of got the gist of it. I don't like the mobile app. It doesn't seem very user-friendly. And then also a Teespring, I should set that up too, but I got to figure out some Mike Nificent merch, I guess. I'll figure that out soon.
Yeah, I'm using this place called Printful right now. It's kind of like Teespring, and but I tie it into a Shopify store. I haven't launched it yet, but I'm getting ready to launch this store where you can go in and buy, and they do really nice quality products, and there's a pretty decent markup on the products. You can sell a shirt for $25 or $20 and make, 10, 15 bucks off the shirt. And that's with like, prints on 3 different pieces, here, all over the place. It doesn't matter how many places you print on the shirt. So I agree with that. And I don't know about Patreon. I don't like the idea of Patreon being in control of things. I don't like companies that have a known bias to be in control of my money. And that's why I hesitate to use Patreon, because we saw what they've already done to conservatives on that platform. And if you go in there and read their terms of service, which I did, they've got these very broad statements about hate speech that I'll be hate speech all day just by wearing this hat on their platform. You know what I'm saying? So I've kind of waited on Patreon just because, and I don't know. I'm trying to be as independent as I possibly can and have as few other companies involved in what I'm doing as possible. I don't know if that's the right way or not. I have no idea.
I feel that. I mean, I would love to be independent completely, not have to deal with, because these third party, when when you outsource the management like that, you can get demonetized. They can interrupt your flow, just like they did with Conservative Mexican. He didn't sound demoralized at all, but I felt for him because he worked hard to get where he is, and he was making money off it. He says he's not in it for the money, and I believe that. But it's also like, if he were able to do this full time, now that just got wiped out. If that was his goal. And see, that's not how it should be when you're trying to grow like a business, essentially. That's kind of what it is a business, and then they can just come and pull the plug on it because you're using their platform. So I've never been a fan of working for someone else, because that's kind of what you're doing. You're working for someone else. YouTube makes money off the ad revenue as well. They kind of let you be in your own lane or your own avenue, but then they could just kind of jump in there and mess up your whole flow. Great Douchebag says, everyone please check out Christie and Forbidden Information, as well as Lee Pure Imagination TV.
Those are good people, man. Those are
yeah,
good
and
people.
then Tony Patriot. So subscribe to Tony Patriot. Tony Patriot's trying to get to 1,000 subs so that he can live stream on his phone. I guess YouTube changed some things where you can only live stream on your laptop. That's just stupid. But he wants to be able to live stream on his phone. He needs to hit 1,000 subs to do that. So subscribe to him. Lee Pure Imagination. Subscribe to him. And what was the other one? Christy Ann. See, I love this. Now I got this extra monitor. I can see all the chats on the other screen.
Christiana Forbidden Information. Michelle over Forbidden Information.
Yep. And thank you to everybody that has super chatted so far. Some of you guys didn't put a message. Okay, so let's kind of dive into a few more topics.
All right.
So
I got one for you.
Go ahead.
And this is something I just put up another video today about. As a matter of fact, there is this lie being spread by the media, and everybody's picking up on it, that right-wing extremists are responsible for all of the terror deaths in America in 2018. I don't know if you've heard this or not, but if you've watched any news outlet, if you've watched anything like the Young Turks, if you've watched any of those progressive shows, they all are saying the same thing. And if you Google how many right-wing extremists are in America, you're going to see nothing but article after article after article saying that this is a true statement, and it's an absolute lie. And I did the research on it. It's absolutely incredible what they're putting out there. They're basing this off of a report that was put out by the Anti-Defamation League, which I'm not going to get too deep into it, but they are left-leaning and not trustworthy when it comes to anything that I would consider a right-wing report. Let's just say that. But I did some more digging, because in the report they said that 50 people were killed in 2018 from right-wing extremists, meaning 50 people died and they were killed by somebody who had a tie to either extremism or a right-wing extreme group of some sort. Whatever tie that is, it could have been a Facebook chat, it could have been who knows what. Subscribe to them on Twitter. The guidelines are very loosey-goosey, to put it mildly. But more importantly, I was kind of shocked by the number. They said 50 people died, and I thought to myself when I was researching this, I go, that sounds bad, but that doesn't sound like bad. You know what I mean? Like, if you tell me 3,000 people are dead, I'm like, whoa, what's going on? I mean, what's going on here? But 50 people, if it was at one time, I'd be like, wow, 50 people got killed. That's horrific. That's horrible. But 50 people spread out over a year across the United States and by different people. To me, that just is not a shocking number at all. So I had to research and find out, well, how many people are being killed in America in homicides? And the number is over 15,500 people are being killed in America every year. And the largest percentage of those people is 13%, and that's gang violence, man. And not just black gangs, Mexican gangs. There's all kinds of gangs in America. There's thousands, tens of thousands of gangs in America. All in every state, in almost every major city, there's gang activity. And over 2,200 homicides from gangs every year. And we're talking about 50 people as some sort of number that is supposed to scare the entire nation into thinking that the right wing is a big threat in America. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really pathetic. You know, they want to use right-wing extremists as a straw man to paint all conservatives, all people on the right wing. They're like, look at that extremism of right-wing ideology. They're being radicalized, and I forget who it is that was talking about this, and they said they use Trump's rhetoric as like a license to kill. And I'm like, okay, you guys are cherry picking, and if you want to talk about numbers, because yeah, 50 is a small number, but they're hyper focused on it. They don't want to focus on all the illegals that have killed American citizens in this country, and those crimes are 100% preventable, because if they're not in the country, they're not killing people. So they always try to manipulate statistics. And again, they know their audience. The left knows their audience. People who don't do research, people who don't fact check, people who have already arrived at a conclusion, and they just want their what's the word I'm looking for? They just want their position to be validated. You know what I mean? Like, they've already arrived at the destination of, here's what I think about right-wing extremists, or here's what I think about Trump and the Russia investigation. So they're going to go seek out a Rachel Maddow or BuzzFeed to confirm what they already believe. So it's not like what they're doing is pulling people in their direction. The average person sees right through what the left is doing. They see it. So the one thing though is they're trying to stop the bleeding, right? Because so many people are walking away, people are turning off MSNBC and they're turning on sane news, people who aren't emotional. They're watching Tucker, they're watching that stuff. They're trying to mitigate that loss by saying, wait, you don't want to be in, you don't want to talk to them because they got right-wing extremists over there. So it doesn't bother me too much. It's just one of those things where they're picking and choosing what to focus on based on their agenda, right? If they want to talk about murders, they should talk about it across the board. If they want to talk about violence, talk about Antifa, talk about everything with the legals, talk about gang violence, talk about black on black crime. They talk about, when they talk about hate crimes, they say reported hate crimes. So that's the way they can inflate that statistics by saying, yeah, there's been X amount of hate crimes. Yeah, reported hate crimes. But how many of those were hoaxes? I mean, there's a I forget the website, but it's like hate crime hoax or fakehatecrimes.org, where you can literally see all of the fake hate crimes. And it's all leftists doing it. So the average person is seeing that and they're saying, wait a minute, if there's really hate crimes and it's on the rise, why are people also out here faking hate crimes? Jussie Smollett, or that crazy person who burned down their house with their dogs in it. Like, these are lunatic people that are trying to feel a certain way. So they're doing it to themselves for attention. And that's really what this is all about. Is you have two different Americas. You have people who are sane, rational, calm, just want to live a good life, don't want to deal with any kind of drama. And then you got people on the other side creating drama, constantly worried about something, constantly offended by this, that, and the third. But the majority of people don't want to deal with it. So it's just kind of like, let them have their thing over there. We should stop giving them so much attention, even though it's so easy. It's like low-hanging fruit. It's so easy to just call it out. Like, look at these double standards. They're just tripping all over themselves with double standards, man. It's crazy.
Well, I agree with everything, obviously, you just said. And I think to myself, I don't understand why more people can't see through the BS of the left, because all they do is they talk about how the right, how we are hate mongering. We're using hate and fear to drive our agendas. And they come out with things like the earth is going to end in 12 years if we don't change everything about our country right now. If you don't give Medicare to everybody, if you don't give free college to everybody, the world's going to end in 12 years. I'm not joking. AOC came out, and as part of her Green New Deal, she's now clumped together Medicare for all, a living wage, free college. It's all now part of the Green New Deal, which has unbelievable plans for the future of America that, one, would totally destroy our economy. Two, would leave us all without any vehicles or planes to get around on, because everybody's got to drive an electric car, man. Are you serious right now? You know how many people still drive cars that I know that are 40, 50-year-old cars, man, that they keep in pristine condition, you know?
Yeah.
So the left, they're constantly putting out narratives that they say are the right, but it's actually them. And everybody over there just buys into it, man. It's just, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know,
Accuse them of what you're guilty of. And that's the perfect segue into the next thing I wanted to bring up, which is that AOC, that little animated short propaganda film. I saw it on your video. I think you made a video about it yesterday, where she's just talking about how, you know, this is a way, if we just close our eyes and imagine it, this is how it could be. And I'm just thinking, like, this sounds like straight up Fidel Castro, Mao, just here is why socialism is great. We have 12 years to do it, because I think she's moving away from the fear mongering of we have 12 years left or we're all going to die. It's like, vote Democrat, give us your money or the world's going to end. I'm like, damn, you want to be in power that bad? We got to vote Democrat or the world ends in 12 years. You need to raise everybody's taxes and tell us we can't have burgers and drive cars and all that. But the propaganda film, again, they know their audience. They know that people who listen to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and actually believe she's an intelligent person, I mean, what can you really do for them? It's the people in the middle that they can see through it. That's fine. But the thing is, with this Green New Deal and all of the propaganda around it and why they're trying so hard to force it on us, and how they've got all these useful idiots on Twitter and Instagram and everybody who's virtue signaling about, oh, we got to fix this, we got to do that, we got to change how we do everything, we have to take incredibly bold action, like you said with that brand messaging, incredibly bold action. Okay, Beto, you first. AOC, you first. You notice how every single person that's pounding the table right now for the Green New Deal has not given up their car yet. Not one of them. They're not retrofitting their houses. They're still taking flights. They're doing everything, but they demand that someone else does it. You know, it doesn't matter what the topic is. They demand that someone else does it before they do it. I'm like, if you care so much, give up your car right now. Stop. If the world's ending in 12 years, stop living how you live right now. Get new light bulbs, retrofit your house, do all of that. Stop eating burgers. None of them are doing that.
How about Comrade Bernie? Comrade Bernie pays a 26% effective tax rate, and he wants every other millionaire in America to pay 52%. So he wants everybody else to pay double what he's willing to pay for the past 10 years as an effective tax rate. If he believed in this garbage he was spouting out of his mouth, he would have already been given towards this a long time ago. He doesn't believe in any of it. None of them do.
No, they sure don't. None of them believe in it, which is why they continue to push it, because they want everyone else to do it. It's literally do as I say, not as I do. World's biggest hypocrites. They're hypocrites on everything. It doesn't matter. Like with the illegal immigration thing, okay? Sanctuary cities, okay? You don't want them. Now that Trump's like, yeah, we can bring all these people to your city, your sanctuary city. Shouldn't you welcome them with open arms? You know, with the wall, they're like, yeah, we need to build a wall, or we don't need to build a wall. Walls are immoral, but they have walls around their gates. You know, it's like, you think that guns are bad. Well, you're going to disarm your security guards. They're not doing any of that. Same with public schools. It's like your kids are going to private schools, but you push public schools. They want you to live a certain way, but they don't want to live that way. Yeah, so it's easy to call out that hypocrisy.
I was driving through my city the other day, and we got some decent neighborhoods in some parts, you know, like most cities. And I'm driving block to block to block, and I just can't help but notice there's walls everywhere, man. And they seem to be effective. People seem to use walls quite a bit, and especially rich people. Rich people love walls. They got walls around all their houses, all their neighborhoods. Their houses have walls. Then their neighborhood has a wall with a guard gate and an armed guard. But not for you guys, not for you poor folk in America. You guys don't need walls. Walls don't work. You remember the talking point they were talking about, the medieval wall, Trump's medieval wall? And I made a video. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? Are they going to have like boiling pots of oil on top of the wall they're going to pour down on illegal immigrants? What is a medieval wall? They're going to shoot fiery balls over the top of it to hit all the immigrants?
Yeah.
What the hell's a medieval wall?
Right. They're saying like, oh, walls are old school. I'm like, so is a tire, so are wheels. If it works, you keep it. You don't stop using it because it's old. Doesn't make sense. They only rationalize things. They don't use logic. They really don't. And I'm talking about the mainstream left. People always comment and get triggered like, you're just making generalizations, Mike. I'm like, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. I'm obviously talking about specific people on the left, and those are the ones with the megaphones that are constantly pushing this nonsense. All these celebrities, they're always telling us how to live. I'm like, you're the last person that needs to be telling us how to live. You're the last person. With taxes, that's another example. Going back to Bernie. Okay, all these millionaires talking about, oh, the rich need to pay their fair share. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, first of all, you don't need the government to take your money. Why don't you take your money and just go redistribute it yourself? This way, you can be discretionary. You can give it to this person, not that person. You can set up an organization. You can open businesses. You can employ people to work for you. Why do you need the government to come in and say, Bernie Sanders, give me more of your money? Just do it yourself. I mean, the same thing with climate change. Like, there's stuff we can do that doesn't require a heavy-handed government solution, period. Like we can recycle more. I'm seeing that they're like whales are washing up with like 50 pounds of plastic in their stomach. Okay, we can do better there. No sane person wants to hear about whales washing up and, that little turtle with the straw stuck up his nose. The left puts that stuff out there to make it seem like, oh, conservatives don't care. They don't care. They want animals to die. Like, nobody that's sane and sensible believes that. So there's stuff we can do without the government, but their solution is always government. You notice that? They create problems. They create problems with the government, but their solution is always, always, always government. It's never private sector. It's never less government. It's always like, what we need is more government. So San Francisco, they're like, we raised all our taxes because, we're so moral. We need to raise taxes for welfare. Okay, you raise taxes and now you created more people who need welfare. There's more poor people, and now they're on drugs because of that horrible failed government policy. And their response is, what we need is facilities for people to shoot up their drugs in a safe environment, and that needs to be taxpayer funded. See, that's the insanity. It's the constant, it's like all gas, no brakes, just full-blown insanity. And they never stop and say, maybe we should reverse course. Let's lower taxes. Instead of raising taxes so we have money to buy stuff, lower taxes, give people more of their money so they can pay their bills. Cost of living goes down. They can stimulate the economy, give people the freedom to choose what's right for them instead of the few trying to dictate to the many. That's just how they operate, though. You can't really make sense of it. Can't.
Yeah, taxation, the government. We see what the government does with money. They go on a 2-year Robert Mueller expense spending spree, and they spend $23 million with our taxpayer dollars for nothing. So I'm not a fan of big government. I'm not a fan of medium-sized government. I like Trump's idea when he was talking about the tax code, talking about how if you're going to add one new rule, you're going to take away 3 rules or something to that effect. Well, let's do that across the board with laws. If you're going to add a new law, bring a new law into existence, I want you to banish 5 existing laws. Every new law, banish 5, because we got millions of laws on the books that are out there that basically are ways for the government to extort us for money. That's all it is. It's government extortion. Seatbelt laws? Are you serious right now? You're going to force me to wear a seatbelt in my own car, and if I get caught, I got to pay you $250. And if I don't show up to court, I might go to jail. That is extortion. That is armed people coming to my door with guns, forcing me to do something I don't want to do with my property in my personal space. We have Fourth Amendment rights to own property and do with our property what we will. The government has consistently stepped over the line, transgressing our rights. The Second Amendment rights that they've tossed those under the or out the door a long time ago when they banned machine guns and all these other things. They're constantly stepping over our constitutional rights. And I don't like the idea of having people that are in Congress making $174,000 a year on taxpayer money to sit around to make more laws to basically control us in a bigger and better way. And that's all they do. They sit around and just think of more laws. And when people talk about congressmen and congresswomen, they say, well, what's their signature legislation? I don't give a crap. I don't want you to have signature legislation because I don't want you making more laws. That's the bottom line. I don't want more laws. That's it. And so I don't like the idea that the government takes our tax dollars however they want to do it. And there's all kinds of backroom deals going on and all kinds of bad ways this money is being spent. And there's no transparency with it. But we're criminals if we don't give up our tax dollars. We're the ones that are going to go to jail if we don't give up our tax dollars. So yeah. I'm with you, man.
Yeah, the entire system is corrupt, and it's really sad because I feel like the potential's there for it to work well, but you just have the wrong people in there. And I don't think there's a such thing as right people in government because they're humans just like us at the end of the day. And no human is immune to corruption, which is why I think people need to have limited ability to control other people. So I'm always going to be for limited government just based on that. You know, it's really frustrating that a lot of Republicans, the majority of Republicans suck. You know, you would think that because of how crazy the left is, you could have some sensible Republicans go in there and they would stand out. Like Dan Crenshaw seems pretty legit. I don't know much about him, but he seems legit, but there needs to be more than him.
Hey, Jim Jordan's good. We got some good guys in there, man. We got some lifelong politicians that are just in there for money, dude.
Yeah. Most of them are, especially when it comes to career politicians. That was the whole appeal of Trump, is he couldn't be bought out. He was already rich before he got into politics. Most politicians go in like AOC. Oh, I was just a bartender. Watch, guarantee her net worth in a couple of years is going to be 2.4 billion or million or whatever. She's going to be a millionaire based off all the backdoor deals.
Oh yeah, even if she gets kicked out of office in 2020, which I pray to God she does, she's still going to go on to be a CNN contributor for the next 10 years and give speeches and write books and
you name it. All of that, man. It's crazy.
I will say one thing, though, that I want to say that I don't think is going to be very popular with a lot of people, or maybe, I don't know, I don't really care. But there's something more important to me than Donald Trump. And I love Donald Trump as our president, don't get me wrong, but my Second Amendment is way more important to me than Donald Trump. And I don't like the fact that he signed a bump stock ban. Not because I own bump stocks. I've never even seen a bump stock in person. I've seen them used in videos. But just the idea that he would react in that way to a shooting and just take that action is unsettling to me. And I actually made a video just for him, a personal message to Donald Trump saying, I'm with you, man, but if you do one more thing to come across these Second Amendment rights that I have, we're done. I'm done. That's it, because you're not going to be confiscating my weapons. You're not going to be doing the red flag laws. You're not going to be doing the gun registries or any of that nonsense. If we don't have Second Amendment rights as patriots in this country, we have nothing. And the communists, the fascists, that's the first thing they do is they disarm a population. They disarm you, and they do it peacefully through buyback programs historically. They'll buy back your gun. They'll offer programs to say, come on, give us your stuff. We're going to work towards a better society where there's not much violence as you guys see around your world, right? And then everybody gives up their guns. The next thing you know, the government is the only one with guns. And they're the ones patrolling the streets, enforcing laws that we didn't write for ourselves, that other people wrote for us. So I'm just telling you right now, I'm Trump all the way, man. I will stand by him to the end. But that ends when he crosses that line of more restrictions on my Second Amendment rights. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah. It's someone said in the chat he's compromised. He got he did it for optics, bump stock ban. I mean, I don't know. I really can't speak too much on it, but I do know that the Second Amendment in this country, it's not going anywhere. If that domino falls, the rest of the Constitution will be toast. But I think because people are so proud here, we love the country, we love the Constitution, and we will never abandon our guns. They're not going to be able to do it here. You know, they always want to talk about Australia and the. Oh, Dina said super chats are working. Okay, cool. Thank you, Dina. They always talk about the Australia gun buyback, and it wasn't. It was mandatory buyback, and so they were just giving you money that you already paid them. So they're not giving you money for your guns. They're just giving you back your money and taking your guns.
Yeah.
But it's money that you already had, you gave them. It's the whole thing is a nightmare. But I don't let that bother me. The bump stock thing is it is what it is because he already passed it. But I totally agree. If Trump ever changes his tune, I'm not supporting him anymore. Like I said, make America great again. This no longer has anything to do with Trump. Trump just brought that message into the mainstream. Like, this is what the national debate needs to be about, focusing on this country. And that brings me to I guess we'll wrap it up after this. I want to get your take on some of these 2020 candidates. Now, I'm going to say something that's kind of unpopular, okay? I like to be in the know. We all know that all of these politicians that are running for president, it's a clown car. We all know they're all crazy. Beto, Bernie, Biden, Elizabeth Warren, they're all nut jobs. They're weak. However, there are two candidates that stick out to me, and I really hope they make it to the debate stage because they seem to be the most sane. And those two candidates are Tulsi Gabbard and Andrew Yang. Now, a lot of people are like, oh no, Andrew Yang, communist, he's gonna, inflation with the Yang bucks, the $1,000 UBI. Here's the thing. The reason why I like Andrew Yang is not because of the policies he's pushing. It's because he is sane. He's focused on policy almost exclusively. He did make some outlandish comment about America's going to start demonizing China and Chinese immigrants are going to be put in internment camps. He said something crazy, but I think he was just bowing to the will of the mob. Like, you better play identity politics. But for the most part, he has talked about, the economy. He understands why Trump won. He understands that automation is killing jobs. He's trying to, be reasonable, and he's rational in the way he thinks about it. I think he's wrong on his policies. He's a gun grabber, yeah, but at least he's sane. You can have a conversation with Andrew Yang, which is why he's getting more respect from Fox News. He was on Ben Shapiro's Sunday morning thing like last week. So someone like Andrew Yang, I feel like there needs to be more of him on the left because, it's a utopian concept to just picture like, oh, what if we had no liberals? It's just conservatives. If you had an all conservative country, an opposition party would still form, because if it's a truly free society, people are going to disagree and want to go their own way and grow, start coalition building, and you would have the same thing all over again. So I don't even try to go there. I just think both sides have some good points. One thing I agree with the left on is decriminalize marijuana. There's no reason why any citizen should be behind bars because of a plant. It's a plant before it's a drug. But yet the old school Republicans, like the evangelical, they were like, no, it's a gateway drug. That whole thing. That's one thing where we need to decriminalize, like shrink the government that way. But anyway, Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard, I like some of her talking points. I mean, I'm just getting to know her, but she seems anti-war, regime change, wars and all that. No more interventionism. Like, she wants to focus on this country. So they both have America first messages. They just so happen to be on the left, but they're not kowtowing to the identity politics. They're not advocating for race-based policy. So those are two interesting candidates. What are your takes on them?
Well, I don't have a lot of knowledge or opinions on Yang at all because I haven't really done much research on him. Tulsi Gabbard, I disagree. I think she's all about identity politics. I think she was part of a church growing up that was very fundamental Christian, and of course, fundamental Christian churches they stand on the fact that homosexuality is a sin. Same thing I believe, and she had to go on an apology tour for that relationship with her family and that church and things that those groups have done, and that's just to be accepted by her party. Her party will never give her a shot at a seat at the table if she has any sort of what they consider to be anti-gay positions or anti-gay thoughts or anti-gay anything, gay this, gay that, whatever. So I kind of like Tulsi. I like that she's a veteran. I always think a veteran would be great for presidency. I mean, if you're going to be in control of the military, you ought to know what the military is like just a little bit, in my opinion. It'd be nice if you knew a little bit about the military from the inside. That would be great. So I do like that she's a veteran, but she doesn't have a shot to me. I think it's going to go to one of the corporate Democrats because the DNC is ultimately going to decide who's going to lead them, right? And they picked Hillary. And if Hillary were to run again, they would pick Hillary again. That's how stupid they are. So I think they're going to go with a Kamala Harris Biden ticket would be my guess. I don't know who's going to be on the top or the bottom of that ticket. My guess would be they'll put Biden at the top and they'll put Kamala Harris at the bottom. So Biden Harris is my prediction. And I may be way off on that. I may be way off, but that's my prediction right now. And we'll see where it goes. I don't think Booker, Spartacus, I don't think he has a shot. Warren doesn't have a shot.
Yeah, they both. Cory Booker, he's so fake. Elizabeth Warren, she's polling in the single digits, and she's really fake, and she's got the charisma of a grapefruit. It's not gonna work out for her. You're right. It's gonna go to a corporate establishment Democrat, and I almost forgot Tulsi Gabbard's already in Congress. Andrew Yang's an outsider, but yeah, like this. The way I see it is, it's like a job interview. They already know who they're gonna hire, but they're bringing in all these other candidates because protocol, because optics, because they want to give the illusion that look at all these wonderful candidates. But you can already tell who they want based on how CNN and how liberal media is treating them. They're dragging Bernie. They're dragging Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard are both getting more respect and more attention from Fox News. Tulsi Gabbard's getting endorsed. Well, she's been endorsed by David Duke and a bunch of far-right people because I guess she comes across as pro-Palestine, but that's just that. I think it is probably going to be Kamala Harris. And I don't know about Joe Biden, man, because he's got too much controversy around him and that whole Me Too thing. He's going to poll bad with women. He's going to drag that down. It's going to come down to Kamala Harris and Bernie. It's going to be the same thing it was in 2016, where it looks like Bernie could beat Kamala Harris, but they're going to rig it. They're going to screw Bernie again. The rest of them, they don't even have a shot.
Yeah, that's what I've been telling everybody that, Bernie was a fool the first time and he's a fool the second time for signing any promises to the Democratic Party. I wouldn't sign nothing because I'm going to run third party on your ass if you guys screw me over again. He's got all this support from these youngsters. Let's see it, man. Let's see your support. You think you got all the young people in America. Let's see it. Let's see how many of them are going to show up to vote. So
Exactly.
Let's see, man.
Well, let's wrap up here. Is there anything else you want to say to the crowd? Make sure you guys give it a like. Thanks to everyone that super chatted. Got any last words for everybody?
What am I? Sounds like I'm on death row here or something.
Give us your final thoughts. No, let's hear your Jerry Springer final thoughts.
Well, no, I would just say that I'm very excited about the next few years, and not just because I'm a YouTuber and I think that the videos are going to be coming like gold, but because we have an opportunity to reshape our country back, move it back to a place where it once was, not forward to these progressive places that are disgusting with child murder and all this other crap, but pulling it back and reshaping the country back to when it was a little bit better. And we need to get all of the red hats in America to the voting booth, man, because I can't believe we lost anything in 2020 or in 2018, rather. I can't believe we lost anything. The fact that we gave up House seats in 2018 is really disappointing to me. I thought we had more people that understood the importance of voting every 2 years. This is not a 4-year gig, man. This is an every 2-year gig. And everybody needs to be out there involved every 2 years so we get control and we keep control. You see how much obstruction is possible if we just lose one portion. If we just lose the House, look at how much obstruction now we have to get through to get stuff done. But you get control and you keep control, man. You got to stay at the booth, the voting booth, man. So that's my message. Let's unite everybody. Everybody who's here, I hope you come over and subscribe to the channel where I'm at. And I hope everybody from my channel comes over and subscribes to you that doesn't know you. And we just keep this thing moving, man. We got to keep this thing moving.
Amen. Amen to that. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Again, make sure you go and subscribe to the American Joe Show. His link to his channel is in the description. You can also just type it in. It should pop up. And don't you have a website too? All that information's on your channel, I'm assuming.
Yeah, AmericanJoeShow.net. And I'm actually collecting email addresses from patriots who want to keep up with me if things go south here on YouTube, because I always keep an email list. It's a small list. I've only got a couple hundred people on the list right now, which is a kind of disappointing because I have like almost 12,000 subscribers. I wish more people would be involved in the email list, because if I wake up one day and my channel is no longer there, then nearly 11,000 people are going to just walk away and never going to see American Joe again. And that's disappointing. So I recommend, Mike, you get an email list set up off of YouTube and get everybody, as many people as will, get them signed up on your email list. That way, if something happens, you can tell people what's the next step for your channel.
Definitely. I'm definitely going to do that, man. I got big things planned for this year. So I'm looking forward to just 2020, man. Like, I'm going to be pounding the pavement, man. I'm going to be out here doing live streams when Trump starts holding rallies. I'm trying to go to every single Trump rally in the southeastern United States. I don't care if it's the middle of Tennessee, Arkansas, Alabama, even better, right? Because that whole narrative, I can't wait to just debunk and blow up these bullshit narratives that the left keeps driving every day, so we can continue to win this country. Like, man, the stakes have never been this high ever in our lives. I don't think we'll ever see a time like this ever again. So it's so important that people stay in the loop, stay in the know, always share content, especially when there's a story that comes out where it seems kind of fishy. Do your research and get it in front of eyeballs that believe whatever the going narrative is. And that's how we win. And then, of course, continue to talk to your local congressmen, senators, these Republicans that are sitting on their hands, not helping Trump with this border wall crisis. Because that's the thing, everyone crossing the border is just a Democrat voter. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it.
Well, listen, if I'm ever down in Florida, I'm going to hit you up, man, because I got about 10 reasons to come to Florida now. I got about 10 patriots that are in Florida that have channels, Tony Patriots in Florida, Big Jim's in Florida, Disabled Vets in Florida. We got a bunch of people hanging around. So if I'm ever in the neighborhood, man, we're getting together. We're going to get a steak, a big old steak, and hang out, man.
Go to the gun range. Hey, we'll chat offline here. I'm going to end this live stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next video. Stay on, Joe.